Celtics blow a 20-point lead in their own building, lose game one in overtime to the Knicks last night. And from my perspective, if Jason Tatum wants some respect put on his name, as Wiggy said a lot yesterday, then at some point in these games, he's got to go out there and get it done himself.
Right.
Because that's what the great ones do, Wiggy.
No more stinkers.
That's what
Can't
the
have
great ones
those.
do. So let me get to Eric in the car. Hello, Eric.
Yeah, how you doing? There was an old football coach around here that used to talk about situational football. They did not play situational basketball yesterday. You shoot the threes to go up 20. Someone on that team has to say, you know what? I'm taking it to the hole. It's a shame. That's how Atlanta lost the Super Bowl, and that was the problem last night. They were not playing situational basketball.
Bingo.
Yeah.
It's a great job, Eric, right there, because he's right. I get the threes get you into the game and get you up by 20, but there has to be a point in time when they're making a little bit of a run where you go, okay, we're not just going to hawk up threes and let them get twos and go on this run.
It's a little bit alarming, and I get it. This is a really, really good basketball team. Curtis and I were talking about it before the show. Second quarter, third quarter, you're sitting there and you're like, this series is going to be a full sweep.
I mean,
it was sweep forward last night for the first three quarters of that basketball game, Curtis.
Into the middle of the third, aren't you sitting at home saying the Celtics are not playing well, and they are up by 20 points? Like, this is going to be the most boring series of all time.
And I don't know if you guys continue to watch for halftime or if you just muted it, but like listening to Shaq and all of them talk about it, they were like, there's no way that this Knicks team can compete with this Celtics team for 4 games. Like, this is going to be easy for the Celtics. Yeah. To have them come out of the locker room with that type of energy, and I could see David on hold. I've seen other people, you can't blame the coach. You can't blame the coach. It's up to the players to stop taking threes. My lead is going to show you exactly why I think it might be on the coach.
The first thing they do as soon as they come up out of halftime in the third quarter, Jaylen Brown hawks up a three-pointer. That's the very first thing that they do, and it's got to be and that's why, and basketball is about so many runs and grooves and everything. As a player, you would think like it's just not falling from there. Let me get to the free throw line. Let me try some other stuff, and it just seems like that they don't. That never that light never comes on in their head. It's like, all right, I'm missing, but if I keep shooting, it'll eventually go in.
But isn't it the coach's job to change an approach in-game and to diagram some sort of a play? At the end of regulation and in overtime, I don't even know what it was.
Yeah, I don't know what that play was.
How is it humanly possible? And if the caller made the Belichick reference, it's a great point. When the Patriots were in the playoffs and had to have a need-to-have-it 2-point conversion, there was never a doubt in your mind that they had one they hadn't used in a while and it was going to work because that's the level of detail they had. With the Celtics, Mazzulla literally has no job. I could stand back and say, shoot the 3 ball, and they do it. I don't know what. I mean, not a good day for the Mazzulla thing.
No.
Clearly, he's not the best coach in the NBA because that would say that nobody knows how to coach.
Yeah, you got to be able to draw up something better at the end, or you got to just say, okay, I'm going to get it into one of my 2 players' best hands, and then you have to create and make and get a shot. Because if you look at a lot of,
hold on, Jason Tatum could have won that basketball game for them with 5 seconds left. It was in his hands.
Yeah, he missed.
He bricked it.
Right, but you then have another opportunity in overtime.
Yes, you have another opportunity, but Jason Tatum, could have closed it out.
I understand that.
Let's be clear about that.
And we both agree on that.
Okay, good.
But when you don't close it out and you have another opportunity because the Knicks have a chance to win the game and they don't, you have to take advantage of that next opportunity.
Is Avi from Arlington. Good morning.
Good morning. I think it's not Jason Tatum's a better player than all of them, and the other players they're just dog crap last night. We're supposed to you only win a game with the competing right, And then what about the fouls at the end of the game? Come on, ref.
I'm not. No. Thank you. I'm not. There's the officials let them play basketball last night. I don't. There's no whining about the refs in that game.
I got no issues
night.
with the refs. The refs, they were what they were.
They had their way. You brought up Karl Anthony Towns. The Celtics they had their way with him, and there were a lot of no calls that the Celtics got away with.
Yeah, I mean, he had 3 fouls early,
and then Mazzulla said, "Don't go near him."
He had 3 fouls early.
Yeah, no, sorry, Abby.
I heard that. That's not his own thing, though. I was listening to the post game with Abby Chin and Forsberg, and they were bitching about the refs. So
they were.
Yep. It's just NBC Sports Boston is basically Al Jazeera for the Celtics.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, there was nothing egregious last night from the perspective of.
Tatum can't go 0 for 12 in the fourth quarter. You just can't do that. Can't do that. You got to. I don't care if you go 2 of 8 from 3-point land in the fourth quarter, or you go. 3 of 9 from the field, you just can't go 0 for. You can't have a donut in the fourth quarter. You just cannot do that when the game is that close and you're the best player. You just can't do that.
Oh, I mean, from a Mazzulla strategy point of view, he had them early in that game, like trying to get a call when it came to Robinson to try to slow that team down.
Yep.
And so I give him, tiny little points
that worked
there.
out for him. And they got Karl Anthony Towns into foul trouble because Jaylen Brown, when he picked up his 3rd foul, and they switched on it and they kind of cleared the lane, and he was able to get him to pick up his 3rd foul.
But that happens with Karl Anthony Towns more than any player in basketball. There was that stat that was circulating during the game on social media. And was Mazzulla asked about it? Like, why? That is inexcusable. You all agree. The Knicks don't win that game if Karl Anthony Towns is fouled out in the second half, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if you're going to get him to foul out. You did a good enough job to create the distance.
In the third quarter, you had 20 shots, 19 were threes.
Right, but
and he had 4 on him by then, Curtis.
Right.
And when you look at that's where
when you chuck up threes, do you draw fouls?
No, but that's where you went wrong. When you look at that third quarter, the fact that you chucked up 19 of your 20 with 3-pointers and you didn't hit anything, that's where your issue is. At least if you're I'm not tripping about the fouls on them, but at least if you're taking high percentage shots, there's a better chance you make those.
No, but also that run that the Knicks went on in the fourth quarter was atrocious.
And in the third.
Whatever that 22-7 run or whatever it was the death knell.